Good morning, guys. How's it going? Thank you for tuning in to another video. My name is Rush, and today I'm introducing you to my brand new ride, and this is another 2019 Mustang. Check it out. Here we have it. It is a 2019 Mustang convertible EcoBoost. The reason I have this car, obviously I didn't buy an EcoBoost, guys, but I ended up returning the Expedition that I had while I was renting it for a couple of days. It was fun, but definitely needed to get into something a little smaller since it was a little too big to just run errands in and drive all over town. So this thing, definitely a fun time with the convertible, and the fact it's an EcoBoost, it's got some kick to it. So it is equipped with a 10-speed transmission. Let's go ahead and take a drive and talk about what's going on with my Mustang and what I think about the EcoBoost for 2019. Here we go. Now this feels weird. I'm looking for that clutch pedal, but there's nothing there. So let's go ahead and shift it into reverse and get out of here. Now I don't have too much experience driving convertibles, but it's definitely a cool feeling, just feeling the air as you drive. Especially in California, we have some really nice weather. So it's really a car that's made for these California roads. So I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying the convertible lifestyle. I probably wouldn't own one, but to have one, to rent one out is definitely a good time. And you get a lot of looks, a lot of people looking at you and staring you down and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. Definitely a different vibe to it altogether. So I got pretty lucky with this convertible since it's actually pretty much really new. It only has 2,500 miles. So for a rental car, that's really not a lot of miles. It still smells pretty new in here. And the car definitely drives like it's new. So the tires have a lot of tread on them. The the steering wheel, everything like that, all the leathers are really fresh and good. So I would say I'm pretty lucky to be able to get this car, as a replacement while my Mustang is down. So I wanted to give a shout out to the guys at Enterprise for hooking it up and taking care of me, allowing me to switch into different cars so I can give you guys cool videos while my Mustang is getting repaired. So we're gonna go ahead and take the car for a drive. I'll tell you what I like and dislike about it so far. Obviously it's got the 10-speed automatic transmission, and it's interesting to say the least, especially since I'm not really used to the 10-speed. I'm more used to the manual transmission in my Mustang. So we're gonna go ahead and put the car into sport mode, change up the driving modes here. Sport plus, driving feel to sport. Let's see what this baby can do off a light. Not bad for acceleration. It's definitely no GT, but it definitely gets moving for for a little turbocharged 4-cylinder. And the 10-speed obviously shifts really quick, so that's a big plus. The one crazy thing is you don't expect that turbo blow-off valve, that little whistle the turbo makes, in a Mustang. So it's definitely a very unique feeling, or interesting feeling to get in a Mustang. You're used to that V8 rumble in the GT. When you get in this, you hear that little turbo just go whiss every single time you're off the throttle. Very interesting, very interesting. But if that's what you like, that's what you like. Me personally, I like the sound of the GT a little better. It's just more Mustang feeling to me versus this, but I guess you can kind of get used to this. And some people build these up to be crazy sleepers, so who knows. So I figured we can do a second gear pull. So let's go ahead and go down to second gear. Yeah, night and day difference between this and the GT. So here we go, do one more pull for you guys. We'll pull it from first gear. Here we go, and look. Alrighty guys, so that was a little pull in the EcoBoost. Obviously it's not very fast, nothing compared to the GT or the SRT in terms of like the punch, but once it gets moving up top, it can pull a little bit. You know, you feel a little bit of power, but not much compared to its big brother, or the SRT or the GT. So what do I like and dislike about this car so far? You know, obviously I like the fact that it's convertible. That's very different. It feels cool. What I don't like though is that it definitely feels like it loses some of that structural strength, because you see a lot of vibrations going up top in this area right here. Your mirrors vibrate a little bit, especially when you're looking at them, you can kind of see them shake. So it doesn't feel as structurally strong, and obviously being that it is a convertible, that's going to take a toll on the whole strength of the chassis of the car. Another thing is the 10-speed. I'm not a big fan of the 10-speed and how rough it shifts. You know, it's very weird transmission to me because it shifts a lot, and sometimes the shifts are not very good. Especially when you have it in like a sports setting, it definitely, like when you're down or you're going in like first or second gear at a stoplight, it'll jerk a lot, and it's just not super smooth. It almost feels like I'm driving a manual sometimes, which is not what you want to feel in an automatic. Now, one last thing I want to mention about this car is the fact that, you know, some convertibles, they do very good at managing like the wind noise inside the car. So this one, you do have quite a bit of that. So you can definitely get a little bit of that wind noise happening inside the car. So it makes it very hard for me to record videos for you guys as I'm driving, as I'm sure you guys right now are experiencing a ton of wind noise. And even though I have these little side windows up, but it doesn't have that little net that like BMW, Mercedes puts in to help reduce a little bit of the wind noise in the car. So that is kind of it for the 2019 Mustang EcoBoost. It's very nimble though. I mean, it definitely feels like it handles a little better than GT, maybe because of less weight or something. Even though this one's not the performance pack, so like it's not 100% better, but it just feels a little lighter. It's easier to throw around, compare it to the GT. So, you know, if you are in the market for an EcoBoost, maybe if it's your first car or something like that, or you just like the look of the Mustang, not necessarily the performance, then the EcoBoost might be a good idea to hop into. But for me, it's like the noise of the GT and the drive and everything like that. It just is in every way better than the EcoBoost, and that's really what a Mustang's all about for me, about that performance and that enjoyable drive that it has, like revving that Coyote motor up top into, you know, 7,000 RPMs and hearing it rip gears is, you know, what I like. So this for me doesn't really cut it, but for a rental, if you're trying to have some fun, you know, take your wife, your girlfriend out, whatever, on a nice little cruise by the beach, I think you can't beat a convertible like this. So now let's go ahead and hop out of the car, show you a little bit of the exterior. Alrighty guys, so we are out of the car and here it is. This thing is actually beautiful. It's one of the better looking convertibles in my opinion. It's just very sexy the way it looks, and Ford definitely did a good job with styling on this thing. I mean, even if you look at it from the back end here, it still looks really good. I'll give it that. You know, the lights and everything. So obviously the EcoBoost does not get the quad tip, so you only got the single tip on either side, or the dual tip exhaust. But the lights and everything definitely look really good. Color is a little bit understated, but it's not too bad. But for a convertible, I think it's one of the better looking convertibles on the market. And the front end, as we all know it, looks really, really good. So definitely gets a thumbs up for me for it being a convertible and being a nice looking convertible. Drives, it's a fun drive. If you're not used to the GT or used to something with a lot of power, this will be more than enough on your vacation, road trip, whatever. And it gets decent gas mileage for what it is. So now I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, hey Rush, what's been going on with your car with the 2019 Mustang GT that you bought? Well, let me go ahead and talk to you all about that. Alrighty guys, so a lot of you have been very curious as to what's going on with my car, and I figured we'll go ahead and talk about it real quick. I'll give you guys an update. So I've been talking to the dealership, and I've been talking to my service advisor, and I even went in there and spoke to the service manager at the local, you know, AutoNation Ford of Tustin, the dealership that sold me the car. So pretty much at the moment they're a little backed up. They haven't really got me a diagnostic on the car, or they found out exactly what's causing the noise. So I took matters into my own hand. I've been kind of doing my own research and really talking to a lot of you guys that had similar issues with your cars to try to detect what it is that could be wrong with my car. I am 100% certain almost that what I'm experiencing is piston slap within the engine that is scoring the cylinder walls, and it makes the cylinders rattle, creating that 2000 RPM rattle that I'm experiencing. I have talked to at least 4 or 5 people that had a similar issue. Some of them have done a lemon lock case, some of them have done the forward buyback. So that is currently what I'm looking at. Now, although the dealership hasn't officially told me that's what's wrong with the car, you know, a lot of these other cars have this exact same rattle, and it's a very distinct noise. So once you hear it, you know what it is. So at this point, I don't know what the process is going to be. What am I going to do? I know some people said that they got new engines put into their car. I really don't want to have a new engine put into my car at 1,500 miles. I just don't think that's fair. You pay all that money for a brand new car from like a factory engine, and then have them replace it, you know, a couple weeks later, and it's a long process to replace it, and it takes time, and the engine could be on back order and all this stuff. So my second alternative would be, if I do need a new engine, is I would go through a buyback or do a lemon lock case, just because I would rather get rid of that car and start a build on something else. So that is pretty much it for today's video, guys. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update, let you know what's going on. You know, I looked at the Mustang yesterday. It was at the shop. It's very sad seeing it down. You know, I was super stoked for this build, and I wanted to give you guys a nice, you know, start to finish type of build and take you along for the journey, but the universe had other plans, and the car is just not working with us right now. So that is pretty much going to be it for today's video. It's just a little update. I'm enjoying this EcoBoost, you know, the convertible, the top down. It's beautiful SoCal weather. So don't worry though, we have a lot of cool content planned. I did collaborate with a boosted 2017 Mustang, so you guys will see that tomorrow. Super excited to show you guys that footage. And yeah, so that is it for today. My name is Rush. I'm in this 2019 Mustang EcoBoost, and we will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.